Today we're going to be talking Squarebill versus jerkbait and why I don't throw a jerkbait nearly as much as I throw a Squarebill. So for me, a Squarebill is an all-around, all-year bait. I have them in several different colors, different sizes, and if you guys didn't know, KVD came out with a Squarebill that dives to 10 feet. So this right here is killer. It really replaces several crankbaits that you buy. You'll get a 3XD or something like that, and you'll want to toss it out there, and that's great. But they do get hung up quite more often than if you throw a deep diving Squarebill. For me, a Squarebill is going to be anytime the water temp is in the 60s or higher. You can even get them on a bite when it's a super hot day and the water temps are way up there, 80s, 90s, shouldn't matter. We're going to go in depth of why I would pick a Squarebill over a jerkbait. In Central Florida, specifically, northern states is a little different, but in Central Florida, the reasons why. So for me, a Squarebill, I can basically pitch it if I wanted to into laydowns and stumps and all that and get it back out. And if they've seen a jig all day or a worm all day or something like that, you might get a reaction bite. But for a big thing for me is this 10-foot diver is a game changer. And the reason I say that is because if you think about it as a jerkbait, when you fish a jerkbait, even shallow or deep, either one, you twitch it, okay, and then it pulls, and it'll float back up. Now, you can't do that with a 3XD or a 5XD, but you can do that with a Squarebill. You can reel it in, pause, and it'll just buoyancy come back up. Same exact thing, reel it, pause, twitch it. Because the bill isn't so wide, see, the bill isn't, it's literally just longer. That's the only difference between these two, is it's just longer, just by a hair. So you still have the deflection, but you can still rip it and make it stop and kill it. And that's when they'll come up and they'll crush it. So a jerkbait, yeah, it can be great up north in the colder months, and they say the slender profile of the body really makes a difference. To me, I don't believe it does. It's a personal opinion. I don't have no science behind that. But if I'm going to pick something up in Central Florida where there's laydowns and stumps, or even if I'm grinding up a ledge and it's, say the ledge is 8 foot and this is a 10-foot diver, I can dig this thing into the ground and I don't have to worry about it getting hung up like a 3XD does. Or it won't pull as much drag as a 3XD does. A 3XD will really load that rod up and really make you grind into the bottom, whereas this kind of just hops along. It doesn't wear you out as much. So that's something to keep in mind. So for me, I'm going to use, it's a matter of preference. You can use a glass rod or you can use a graphite rod. Either a medium with a fast tip, or if you're fishing, medium with a fast tip if you're fishing open water most of the time. Medium heavy if you're fishing around laydowns and stuff, and it's something where they can come up and eat it and pull you back down under. But you don't want to pull them too hard because remember, you got treble hooks on there. So for me, that's the gear I'm going to use. I use a glass rod currently. I've used graphite in the long run. You do lose a little bit of sensitivity with a glass rod, but it definitely loads up better, and when you hook that fish, it definitely manages the fish better as far as wanting to rip it out of his mouth. It'll let it load up, get a deeper hook set, and then the rod will fight the fish a lot more than you having to fight the rod to fight the fish with a graphite rod. I use 14-pound fluorocarbon. I use Missouri fluorocarbon. They're mainline, which is great because it's the diameter of 12-pound. So in another video, I'll explain to you the difference in diameter for crankbait fishing. And when you do a hook set on a crankbait, jerkbaits is the same way. Again, this isn't a jerkbait video, but just to cover it, when you twitch the paws, they'll come up and either they'll eat it from the back like this, or they'll get it from the side, from the head. And when they do that, you're going to load the rod up and slowly sweep to the side, and that's going to drive these hooks just like that into their mouth. It's the same thing with this. if you're ripping it along, or even if you're burning it, comes in fast, real fast, and you stop it, they'll come and eat it. And typically, they'll either eat it, depending on how they're eating, they'll eat it, like I said, either from the side, back, or come up this way. And as you can see here, this is missing some paint from some teeth marks. So this jerkbait, I'm sorry, the Squarebill has been used in deep water applications several times. I'm actually missing some on the back here too. So this 10-foot diver is a game changer. I mean, I use it a lot for covering water. I got a tournament coming up, and I actually got one tied on right now. This is the KVD 4.0, and this is the 1.5. So you can see the drastic body difference as far as girth. And I'm only looking for 5 fish this weekend, but I need them all to be big. So I'm going to throw a lot of big baits, and Squarebills are one of my go-to. I'm throwing this on a Halo Cranking Series 2 rod, and this is a glass rod with 14-pound fluorocarbon. If you guys have any questions in regards to color choice, I use pretty much real standard. I'll use a chartreuse in black. I'll use a shad pattern, either blue back, green back, something with a chartreuse stripe on it, nothing crazy, and then I'll use a black. Fire Tiger, you got gray with orange on it, you take your pick. Anything with a dark silhouette works really well because the light can't penetrate deep down with a 10-foot diver in Central Florida. If you guys have any questions, please put it in the comment section, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and thank you for watching.